One, it's all about who has the most explosive draw, and I think the person who goes first has a huge edge.
Tom going to look to get him with the Piracy Charm, I think.
Piracy Charm's pretty solid in this matchup. Kills him at help.
Just going to put that out there. We're underway here. VanMeter is on the play. He'll start by sacrificing a Windswept Heath. He'll play Atlanta War Elves. And round number 7 underway between these two good friends. Both of them were at Grand Prix London last weekend doing battle. Ross will take a draw. He'll play a Verdant Catacombs. Down to 17 he will go as he searches up a breeding pool. Oh, CD's got to play on his first turn of the game. Yes.
Bang.
Yes. Yes, Piracy Charm. See, Tom doesn't show a lot of emotion, but you know in his head right now, he's, I got you.
Especially because he has the one copy. I mean, you know, again, he's not showing anything, but you can tell. Oh, yeah. Missed a land drop.
Yep.
Fancy that.
You're in my house. Just an Arbor Elf and a passing of the turn.
And it's so important for Tom to slow Chris down. And he does not have very much interaction in game 1. So that Piracy Charm is huge.
I think if Tom would have drawn 6 lands, Piracy Charm would have kept.
I mean, if there's
just to snap him off.
If there's a Nexus, that's not even close.
VanMeter will draw a card. Does he have land number 2 yet? He's got Emrakul number 1.
Nice. We'll get to that later.
Nettle Sentinel. And Nettle Sentinel. Both of those are good to go. To the boss we go. He'll play a Cataxian Probe for free. Evolutionary Leap, Essence Warden, and Emrakul.
So the big concern here from Tom's side of the table was, does Chris have something like Curio and Heritage Druid to generate a lot of mana? This hand's very soft. This is a slow hand.
Yep.
And so if Tom has a bunch of pump spells or has Blighted Agent and can pump out next turn, by the looks of things, Chris can't stop it.
Now, Tom does have a copy of Might of Old Corrosion in hand. So that's a pretty big chunk.
Yep. In fact, he can, if he wants to, Tom can try to bridge this over 2 turns, where he gets in 1 big shot this turn and then 1 big shot next turn.
Looks like he might just be waiting. Yeah. No rush. VanMeter going to draw a card. Looks like a Wooded Foothills was the draw. That's land number 2. It's weird in some matchups, you know, Essence Warden is a card that can play a huge role in things, Infinite Life. Not in this one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the first card sided out on Chris's side here. Tom can also potentially just set up a kill here of just spinning off a few spells here just to get stuff in his graveyard, and then Become Immense plus a +4/+4 spell, assuming he has a land, also gets him to kill.
It's not hard for him to get the job done.
And Chris's hand was not really threatening doing anything of note this turn unless he drew Heritage Druid. And, you know, in that case, the worst that Chris is doing is probably playing Evolutionary Leap and cycling some things over. It's not even like he's threatening a kill. So Tom can afford to be pretty slow here.
The boss will search for a breeding pool with his Misty Rainforest. Time for him to take a draw. He's moving pretty fast, so Chris is probably dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is 5 spells in the grave, 5 cards in the graveyard now. Now he has a spell plus Become Immense, and that should do it.
Yep, there's the thumb and the middle finger. Here comes the Nexus. Might of Old Corrosion as a sorcery. Become Immense. You have no outs. Tom Ross winning game number 1 here over Chris VanMeter. In fact, very quickly up a game over Evolutionary Elves. Heritage Druid was the next draw. That was probably good enough to kill him.
Yeah.
Honestly, because he gets to go nuts with Leap then.
Yes.
So wouldn't surprise me if that was enough to kill him. Heritage Druid, very, very important in this deck. So this will get a little interesting here as we do go. We'll start with VanMeter's sideboard, however, and we'll find 2 copies of Ranger Rios, 3 Court of Calling, a Reclamation Sage, a Scavenging Ooze, an Eternal Witness, 2 Spellskites, Back to Nature, 3 copies of Dismember, and a Burning Fortune Tender. He's got good options.
So the top of the list here, the 3 copies of Dismember and the 2 copies of Spellskite give him some reasonable interaction. I think the Reclamation Sage is not bad to bring in here as an answer to Nexus, and it's possible that he brings in the Chords. They are a little bit on the slow side, so maybe they don't come in for this matchup, but this is the type of matchup where Tom's not going to be breaking up Chris's board, and so Court of Calling can be pretty powerful.
There's other things here for the boss. He's got an Narcolepsy. Excuse me, I take that back. He's got a Necropede. 3 Nature's Claims, 3 Twisted Images, a Relic Progenitus, a Spellskite, a Piracy Charm, ooh, the second one, a Dismember, a Viridian Corruptor, 2 Dispels, and a Carrying Call. That's a wild sideboard.
Yeah, so I'm down with the additional creature removal and Piracy Charm and Dismember. I think the Necropede is also fine for this matchup because it's got a lot of one-toughness creatures. And the 3 copies of Nature's Claim as a way to break up both Evolutionary Leap and Cloudstone Curio.
Good options on both sides.
Yeah, solid sideboards. The game might slow down a little bit. These players can actually interact. Game 1, there's very little of that going on.
And these players will shuffle up in sideboard here. Number 5 and number 19 on our Season 3 leaderboard are VanMeter and Ross. We'll quickly talk about SCG game nights. You saw Furious George on our lapels this weekend. Available every week in August, so there's not a lot of time left.
Exactly, and we run this program. Stores get the luxury of setting up this program however they want to, sanctioned or unsanctioned in any format, just to get players in their store for some fun and friendly Magic on a weekly basis. This is the August kit, which we're running out of time for. This is the September kit come down the pipeline. Too late to get signed up for the Kraken, but October is Hippopotamus month. Head over to StarCityGames.com/game night for more information or contact your Star City Games organized play representative.
Just proof that people eventually, they can be worn down.
Yep.
Give in to demands.
Right.
That's what's happened here.
People, as it turns out, do negotiate with terrorists.
They do.
You just gotta stay with it. You gotta stay steady. But eventually, they will make your hippo pin for you. You just have to complain about it for a year and a half.
Worked out pretty good.
Listen, where are the chips?
Yeah.
You know?
The hippo is available, isn't it? And in October.
Yeah.
A wonderful month.
I was going to say Patrick won Star City Game 0, but that's not even a fair thing because it's good for Star City to have made the hippo pin.
So it's 1-1.
Right. Game's tied. Still.
After all this time.
Right. Still tied.
We'll have to think of, we have to demand something else now. It's got to be natural, but we got to demand something else.
Yeah, we've already found that eventually they will cave. So we just got to figure out what the next thing is. I guess this is the hazard of negotiating with terrorists.
That's
is
true.
Eventually they just start asking for more
Well, there's
stuff.
proof that they will cave, so now we have to think of things.
Right. What's the next animal? What's the next animal that I want?
Kind of, I'm a fan of giraffes and zebras.
They're pretty great.
Pretty great.
Have you ever watched videos of giraffes fighting?
I did not know that was a thing.
It looks pretty great. It kind of looks like a lantern mirror. Like neither animal can really progress. They can sort of lock each other up.
Okay.
But it's very hard for them. The necks get wrapped around each other and they try to leg sweep each other, basically. Really great.
You know way too much about this.
I would argue you don't know enough. Giraffe fighting videos are great.
I'm also a big fan of whales.
Whales are great.
I think whales are great.
Manatee pin's got to happen, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a sure
That's an easy one.
Yeah. Now, we take that.
Yeah, that
take
idea
that.
is so good that it doesn't even count as a demand. That's just something we're giving for free.
It's true.
You just get that.
There's some sort of ocean animal that should happen that I just can't think of. Manatee is good, but there's definitely some sort of large animal in the ocean that should be a thing.
Dolphins are popular.
Yeah, cute too. A shark that's just too easy.
Yeah.
Friendly shark, that's just kind of boring.
They're also not known for being friendly.
It's debatable. Depends what kind of friendships you have.
Yeah, sure.
Both players look like they're going to keep their opening hand. VanMeter will be on the play. Foothills, likely basic forest on the way. And we'll see what 1-mana elf he has.
I think Tom's got the Piracy Charm ready again.
Auto keep.
Oh!
Piracy charm that, buddy.
Chris sniffs it out. Two-dubbed his creature to start off the action.
Yeah, here's a Gataxian Probe. Got a Spell Skite, Visionary, looks like a Chord of Calling. Summoner's Pact.
So I was questioning whether or not the chords were going to come in, and I think there's two reasons, even though they're a little bit slow. One is the post-board games slow down. There's more interaction on both sides of the table. Second, it's not that hard for Chris to be able to chord for Spellskite, and that's really powerful.
He can do it as early as turn 3.
Yeah,
very easily.
That's an easy thing for him to do, and it's really powerful to be able to do that at instant speed.
Another Elvish Visionary is the draw. First things first, get in there, Nettle Sentinel. Ross down to 16. Chris will sacrifice the Wooded Foothills, so go down to at least 18. We'll have a Visionary and untapping of the Nettle Sentinel here in just a moment. Some people are recommending a Rhino.
And that's too corny with Siege Rhino being popular. Gotta give that some years.
It's the wrong time.
It's not a bad idea. 5 years from now we should talk about it, but it's just too easy right now.
I believe it's pronounced Narwhal.
I'm in.
Yeah, you're in for a Narwhal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that we're money making machines with our ideas, but we're not either.
Money, yep.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We're certainly not costing them money.
Yes.
I'll say that much.
Oh my God, the Narwhal's totally adorable.
Yeah, great creature.
Put that thing on some sleeves already.
Excellent choice.
There's a breeding pool. Untapped, by the way.
I think we might see a Piracy Charm here on the Elvish Visionary. With Chris having a Chord of Calling in hand, Tom just needs to keep the board contained. He can't let Chris have anything. And also the game is played so fast here that Tom really can't afford to just say go on the first turn either. He just needs to spend his mana.
That trouble's here. And Blight Agent is the card that Chris does not want to play against. Menorel's the draw.
Bang. Looks like we're going to see attack. Thought better of it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't. That would be weird because, mutagenic growth the beating.
I think that if he's not attacking here, it's because he's planning on playing Spellskite and he wants to have as many blockers back as possible.
Plus, he can just play Spellskite first and then attack.
Sure.
Because then he gets to steal the mutagenic growth.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think Chris's logic may just be, I guess against Blight Agent it doesn't matter. The attack's basically free.
Yeah.
There's no blocking to be done. And the Nexus can't be touched. Everything Chris has is on the ground. I mean, if the concern is mutagenic growth, I'm kind of happy to trade Nettle Sentinel with any pump spell.
I don't hate it.
I guess you can always cast the Spellskite first and then attack. Getting your 2 points, not have to worry about mutagenic growth.
Because here's the thing. You want your Spellskite on the table this turn.
Yeah. The odds of you dying are just too high if you play a couple mana creatures and say go.
There's a Spellskite. Now here comes the Nettle Sentinel. I like this line. It's all perfectly fine. Twitter's really on board with the Narwhal, by the way.
Yeah, of course they are.
Really on board. Some people requesting an Armadillo.
Armadillo is great.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
2 last events to need players.
If Twitter's on board, we know the idea is not average. It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Very last commander pod of the night. If you'd like to sign up for the last booster draft or the last commander pod, please
Pendelhaven,
come to the stage
pump up the
and see
jam.
Angela at
Noble
Sunrise.
Hierarch. Pretty healthy attack here for 3 infect.
But very good news here for Chris that Tom does not, at least right now, appear to have Nature's Claim or anything else to blow up the Spellskite.
It's weird because it's good and bad, right? Because everything that Tom has done right now, like Chris can't stop.
Right.
You know, so this is the bad thing. If you're on Chris's side, it's like, okay, Noble Hierarch, Spellskite doesn't do anything against that. Blight Agent, Spellskite doesn't do anything about that. Pendlehaven doesn't do anything about that either.
If this is all that Tom can do in the face of the Spellskite, though, Chris has a lot of time. The problem is that this development turn was so good for Tom that he actually still could have Nature's Claim in his hand.
Yeah.
I'm setting up this turn, and then next turn I'm going to work you over.
There's Llanowar Elves. That'll trigger Netto Sentinel, so it gets to untap.
And by the looks of things, Chris will not have the ability to cord for a second copy of Spellskite. He's going to be short.
Yeah, if he gets to play another Llanowar Elves, untap his Nettle Sentinel, he can court for 1. Looks like Tom does have Nature's Claim in hand. He's going to start by playing a Probe. He's moving a little too fast for me if I'm Chris.
Yeah. And Tom's just doing a double check here, but I think a cord for 1, assuming Tom has Nature's Claim in a real hand, is not going to be good enough. Looks like Dismember was also found here.
Yep. The thing about Infect, especially in this format, is you know that you have to play against Spellskite, so they really load up.
Yeah.
Twisted Image, Dismember, Nature's Claim, you know, because this is the card that people go to beat Infect.
And there's all sorts of cards that, you know, all the cards you just mentioned, Dismember, Nature's Claim, they do work in other matchups that don't involve Spellskite. Or if your opponent ends up not having Spellskite, you can do other things with those cards.
They're still going to be functional.
And Twisted Image is a little bit more narrow, but at least it cycles. So, again, the floor is still pretty high.
There's a pump. Here's an attack. That's a Vines.
Yeah, that's 10.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was pretty easy. Tom Ross going to win this match over Chris VanMeter, 2-0. In fact, will take care of Evolutionary Elves pretty easily, and the boss is going to move on to 7-0. He's also got day 2 locked up, so just another day at the office with Infect for Tom.
Yeah, won both games on the draw. Chris's hand, you know, game 1, he had a hand that didn't really go anywhere too fast with more time. Evolutionary Leap is very potent there. Game 2 had a lot of tools, but just not enough time to set up, and Tom was able to blow through the little resistance Chris was able to put together.
And that's one of the threats that he doesn't want to play against. You know, of the 3 between Inkmoth Nexus, Glistener Elf, and Blight Agent, that's the last one he wants to play against.
Yeah. You know, the Nexus at least is a little bit on the slower side, requires more mana. Glistener Elf is very easy for Chris to handle. He's got a sea of blockers, but Blight Agent is a big vulnerability there, and even with Spellskite, Chris was killed very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's really tough here for Chris. Is it really forced